Dele Momodu, former presidential aspirant olùdíje ipò ààrẹ àná ti sọ̀rọ̀ lórí protest tó fẹ́ wáyé ní August 1. Àgbà journalist yìí sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ dáàbò bo ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn tó fẹ́ fi ẹ̀hónú hàn. Àwọn tó fẹ́ ṣèwọ́de ní August 1 lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ebi tó káàkiri Nàìjíríà, wọ́n gógó àti gbogbo ìdojúkọ tí Nàìjíríà ń kojú pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe ìjọba. Ló wá jẹ́ ìyàlẹ́nu ni pé lára àwọn tí wọ́n ń pè kí protest yìí tẹ̀síwájú ní Ọmọyẹlé Sowore, bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ìlú ọba lòun àti ẹbí ẹ̀ wà, ṣùgbọ́n ó ní kò pọn dandan kóun wà nílùú Nàìjíríà níbi tí protest ti máa ṣẹlẹ̀ l'August 1. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn rí pé lè lágbára ó lágbára ó gbọgbọ́n o. Nínú fọ́nrán yìí náà lẹ ti máa ríbi tí Dele Momodu ti gbé oríyìn fún gọ́vnà Adeleke ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun wípé iṣẹ́ tí bàbá yìí ṣe náà ló yẹ kí Tinubu ṣe. Bí gọ́vnà Adeleke ṣe pè gbogbo àwọn civil society, àwọn student union, àwọn ọlọ́pàá, àwọn oníròyìn, gbogbo àwọn tọ́rọ̀ kàn nípa ọ̀rọ̀ protest pé kí wọ́n wá kán jókòó káwọn sọ àsọyépọ̀ tó lè mú ìtẹ̀síwájú bá ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Ẹ wo ọ̀rọ̀ jábọ́ o, Dele Momodu sọ̀rọ̀ ó fọ̀rọ̀ lẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ protest yìí o àti nípa ìjọba Tinubu. Ẹ gbọ́ ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́. Welcome to CrossBlogX TV. Remember to like, share, and follow us.
The first thing is to stop the profligacy, ongoing profligacy in Nigeria, as if money is going out of vogue. If they do that, you cannot ask people to go and fast on your behalf and they see you eating lunch. Nigerians are not difficult people. This protest is... people have asked me, are you going to protest? No, I'm not one of the protesters. But we must defend the rights of Nigerians to protest because we enjoy that right in our own time. And if we did it to Jonathan, we did it to Yaradua, we did it to Buhari, there is no reason why we will not defend the rights of those people. So the fact that I'm not going to protest does not mean I will keep quiet and say, oh, so for the first time in a civilian regime, we did our own under military. In a civilian, we're now saying people cannot protest. And that's why I wrote another letter to Mr. President 2 days ago. So I was inside the church at a funeral when I got inspired to write him again. Because the people he's listening to are the hawks in his cabinet. They are hawkish. They don't care. In fact, if they give them the chance, they will say the president should order shoot aside for any protester. But that's not the legacy that President Tinubu needs right now. What shall we profit a man who worked all his life to become president, and you become president and you have no positive legacy? So if he is truly a friend and a big uncle to some of us, at least there must be one of us that will be reasonable, sensible, and sensitive enough to tell him the truth. That, sir, if this is what you've been fighting for all this while, you are a major force in pro-democracy. You interacted with the Beko and some Kutis, with the Wole Show in cars. He funded a lot of the activities. I said it yesterday on the program. I said 2 people I believe radicalized me forever are Professor Wole Soyinka and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They radicalized me. I wanted to emulate them. They were comfortable people who didn't need to fight for democracy. But now it's beginning to look like some youths have written on my page that, oh, they didn't fight for democracy, they fought to be able to get power. And that is not a good judgment at all. So I'm appealing very humbly again to the president. Please don't destroy a legacy you built with others. I mean, if the military would allow civilians to protest, why would we now be finding genuine excuses to stop people from protesting?
There's something I want to ask you here. During the days of Nadeko, you were very hand in gloves with Tinubu, even in the UK. Okay? And then, I'm happy you maintained your stance, being a critic of what you see as an anomaly. Somebody like Bayo Onanuga, who was the publisher of the news that was very vehemently critical of every government that he found, not doing the right thing in the interest of the people, is the same Bayo Onanuga today that's now special advisor on the media and publicity, I think.
Senior special advisor or assistant. I don't know what they call it. There are too many nomenclatures.
Advisor is single, so senior assistant, special assistant. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Senior special assistant.
The role he's playing, and the role he played back then, and then you now, I say you maintain your own stance because you are a member of NADECO, you were with Tinubu, you suffered the consequences of being critical of military government at that time. Now, how do you see this happening? I'm afraid to say that Bayo Onanuga is playing double standard. If he was publisher of the news, one of the most daring publications of yesteryear, and today is now one that's playing some kind of strange propaganda that doesn't seem to work. What do you think?
Sir, there is a prayer we pray in my family today that may God not allow Nigeria to happen to us. What has happened to Uncle Bayo? He was my boss at the African Concord magazine from 1988 to 1989. He was deputy editor to our editor, Mr. Louis Obi, a fine gentleman. And I worked under both of them. And Mr. Bayo was one of the finest writers. And he was very close to Chief Moshood Abiola. And you will not believe that he resigned with others from Chief Abiola's Concord empire for them to start the news magazine. He resigned on principle. On principle. And nobody fought for democracy more than them. Mr. Bayo Onanuga, Babafemi Ojudu, Kule Ajibade. In fact, two of them spent a long time in prison, sometimes in solitary confinement. We had Apolorun Yomi, we had Sheye Kehinde. They were all co-founders of the news. And then, when the June 12th crisis got so heated, they started a very, very hot newspaper called The Tempo. The tempo of the struggle was so high that they were publishing from what we call the bush. They couldn't publish in their offices. And on one occasion, Chief M.K. Abiola sent me to speak to Mr. Bayo Onanuga. They got a story that Abiola wrote to President Ibrahim Babangida, asking them to renew their friendship. And you can imagine at a time when many people were fighting for the revalidation of the June 12th presidential election mandate. So we felt it would damage the struggle, and Chief sent me to speak to them, not to publish the story. Mr. Bayo refused. Vehemently, he refused. He said they must publish. The day that story was published was one of my saddest days.
ọ̀rọ̀ lórí protest náà ni Dele Momodu sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí yóò lágbára o.
Immediately the story came out, I think it must have been during Ramadan season. And I went to see him, and Chief saw the way I was frowning. I looked very sad and sardonic. And he said, Dele, wow. What is wrong with you? I said, it's this story that Uncle Bayo has published. Don't worry, they've published. I don't know how to translate that. There are things you can't change or alter. So, and now that they've published it, it's over. They've done it. So, I'm dressing up. Let's go out and break the fast with Chief Razak Okoya. We went that day. I remember very well. We went to Chief Razak Okoya's house. He was still living on the Ikoyi Crescent at the time. And we went to break fast with him. So, can you now imagine that the same person who was that principled is now churning out all kinds of unbelievable releases? Unbelievable. Even a lot of our mutual friends are in shock that why would you waste all your goodwill on one government? And that's what happens to most people when they go into government. So I am happy that I haven't had such a temptation. People say, oh, it's because you are not in government. If you are in government, you will do worse. So maybe, I don't know, but I know myself that I wouldn't. Otherwise, maybe I would have joined government long ago. Tinubu was governor for 8 years in Lagos. At least we came back very fresh together from exile. If I wanted anything, he would have done it. When they were sharing land to people, they shared land for me in Lagos. Uncle Dele was the one handling the one for the media. And he kept chasing me to come and pick my documents. I never did. If anybody has land in my name in Lagos, know that it is fake. So, I mean, I try to be careful. So, look, I've been in politics now since 1982, sir. And I've never been in power. Despite knowing every man and women of power, I have never been tempted. I have just been building. Maybe because I came late to Lagos. I came to Lagos at the age of 28 in 1988. So it was now maybe too late for me to become a Lagos boy. You know, in Lagos, Lagos can compel you to be chasing what you don't need. And in the process, what you don't need will not be chasing you and messing you around. So,
ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ o ọ̀rọ̀ lórí protest òun náà ni Dele Momodu sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí yìí ó lágbára o.
my highest regards as my former boss. On one occasion, I saw them with Uncle Dele calling for my arrest for speaking truth to power during the campaigns. And I was shocked that even the military that we said was so bad, some of them still gave us some respect. We attacked a former general who later became president, Obasanjo. In fact, Tinubu was his chief critic. That's why I'm saying that he radicalized me. Because I used to hail him. Thank God we have one governor who is challenging Obasanjo. And you will see that when Obasanjo made sure that a lot of the Southwest governors lost their elections, Tinubu was able to keep his own. Why? Because the people stood with him. They saw him as the champion of the masses. So why would the champion of the masses now become president and will be afraid to go on the street to go and demonstrate? It's on record that Baba, one of the greatest educationists ever produced in Nigeria, Dr. Taisholani, he died shortly after we protested. I remember how we trekked to Yaba, to the labor union office together. And then when they were firing tear gas and all that, and you know the man was asthmatic, he later died. He died not long after that. Bekol and Kuti suffered so much for the struggle. And eventually, when he died, we believe that it was the cumulative effect of all the attacks on him. Same thing with Chief Abdulganiyu Oyeshola Faweyimi, who went to prison probably more than any other soul in the history of Nigeria. He also died in the struggle. He had lung cancer, and people believe that he was damaged by incessant visits to different prisons. I remember when he was kept very close to the Sahara Desert in Gashua. I was a reporter then in Weekend Concord. And because of our closeness, I was able to get exclusive about Ganifa Wemi. People have died. We have a president who should immediately call the Civil Liberties Society. They are all his friends. Call all the labor unions. Who can forget what someone like Baba Franco Kori did at that time with Nupeng? We were able to organize. So if they didn't want us to organize at that time, it wasn't that the presidents at that time were weaker than Tinubu. It's just that they were ready to obey the laws of the land. Our constitution is clear on it. Anybody can protest. So, but now they are giving us excuses. You can't protest. We've discovered sponsors of anarchy, those who want to set Nigeria on fire. If you've discovered them, arrest them.
Ẹ̀rí lára àwọn ìdojúkọ kan tó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nípa ìwọ́de nípa protest náà ni pé wọ́n máa já ẹ̀kẹ́ báwọn ọ̀daràn ṣe máa ń fẹ́ já ìwọ́de náà gbà kan fi ṣe oríṣiríṣi. Ó sì jẹ́ pé àwọn ọlọ́pàá ní ẹ̀tọ́ láti dáàbò bo dúkìá àti ẹ̀mí àwọn aráàlú. Ṣùgbọ́n wá lè ròyìn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ protest yìí, ṣé kó wáyé àbí kó má wáyé? Ṣé àwọn ọ̀daràn èèyàn ṣé wọn ò ní jagbà kan fi ṣọṣẹ́? Bó bá tiẹ̀ wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ǹjẹ́ àwọn agbára àwọn ọlọ́pàá ǹjẹ́ ó tó ṣó máa ká àwọn ọ̀daràn àbáwọn èèyàn tó bá fẹ́ jagbà? Kí lè ròyìn kó má lọ di pé ó máa di gbọ́n mi sí omi òtó tó máa kọjá ohun tá a lérò. Ọlọ́run mà ní jẹ́ arọ́rọ̀ ogun lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí o. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, kí lè ròyìn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ protest yìí? Ẹ drop comment yín. Remember to like, share and follow us. Thanks for watching.